Welcome, gamers, to Basement Arcade Pause Menu, where we just hit pause on the game, sit back, relax, and just talk about whatever the hell we want. Today is our second episode. I'm Ben Magnet, your host. With me are two of my bros, they're that way, from the Fake Nerd Podcast, Sparkz Witty and Ryan Iliopoulos. And we
What's
are
up?
I'm doing good. What's up with you, bud? And we are joined by two awesome people. They are good friends of mine. I've been on their show before. They are the host of Adults Talking Anime Plus. You can listen to that on pretty much every single podcasting thing you got, and they're also on YouTube. Please welcome Inga Draper and her brother Thor. How's it going, you guys?
Yo.
We're good. How are you guys?
Yo. Also,
Great.
tell me, what's up?
All right, so today I figure we're just gonna have like some sort of structure, because before when I thought about this, I just like pick a topic out of the hat and then we go for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But today I was like, no, let's have a little bit of structure. And today we are talking all about video game consoles of the past, consoles of today, consoles that may be coming out in a few years. Who knows? Consoles we love, consoles we hated, consoles we've wanted, and consoles that we just look at them and go, what the hell were they thinking when they thought of that? So so tangents are welcome, random thoughts are welcome. So I want to start with our guests.
Hey.
So Inga,
Yes.
what comes to your mind when you hear the term video game consoles?
So many consoles. No, I mean, video game consoles. What comes to my mind is the PlayStation. Is what comes to my mind.
Sure.
I think because even though I've had consoles my entire life, I was really lucky. Our dad is a big tech nerd. So a lot of times, even though he didn't play them, he loved getting them. Anything technology, he could have it. Like I had a Nintendo. I think I was like 5. And I had it, and I just told you guys how old I am. But this old lady had a Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
But the one I think that really stuck with me, and I dubbed myself the unofficial Sony girl. After I want people to call me the unofficial Sony girl from now on.
You don't ever want to do the certifications. You never.
Just the unofficial was because of the PlayStation. That's where I really fell in love with gaming and was like, yeah, this is a thing I do.
Nice. What about you, Thor?
I'm wondering still if the PlayStation Portable was just the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
And nobody realized
But
it.
I forgot about
And
how
then they
good
just
that was.
re-released it a couple years later, and now it's popular.
That's some galaxy brain
What
thinking.
happened? Why weren't more people into the PSP? I played
That
Crisis Core on it
was
forever.
Next level too.
Well, Sparkz, what were you gonna say, bud?
I was gonna say you and I literally went off on the PSP for an hour the other day while we were playing games.
It's the question. It's the question that remains to be answered. But initially, I was always console, always Xbox. Now I'm officially on the PC train.
All right. Okay, Sparkz, Ryan.
Man, I was lucky and I was an only child, so like I got most of the video game consoles as they came out because I gave my mom something for me to do so she wouldn't have to be a parent. That's a joke. That's a bad joke now. But I had a PlayStation, an Xbox, and a GameCube, and a Game Boy. So like consoles have just always been around. And I remember I played my dad's like NES. Like he was a big gamer. So I remember playing NES with him as like a young child. So like it's always been around. Video games have always been around for me. But I think like I agree. I think PlayStation has really like cemented it because like we're all around the same age and like growing up, the PlayStation was the hot thing. Sony with those discs, they'd be crazy, right?
And way to kind of like sneak in an insult there, bragging about how being an only child is better. I'm going to tell you right now, I like having siblings. What up?
What up?
I'm not going to sit here and let things be slide. You might be Ryan, but...
Oh my god, that was funny though.
All right, Sparkz, what do you think about when you hear the term video game consoles?
I mean, when you hear the term, I guess I just think of PlayStation and Xbox, but that's not really where I started. Because I also was an only child, but I come from a ranch when I was growing up. So like in the early age of my life and video games coming around, my parents were very like, that's a little strange technology. I don't know about that because like, which is weird to think about knowing them now, but
interactive entertainment.
But at the time, the perspective. So my first, like, all my console experiences for a long time were through like friends with Super Nintendos and Segas and things like that. And it wasn't until the Dreamcast that I got into consoles. So my gateway was Dreamcast.
Oh, you're an indie.
Yeah. Okay. That was my gateway. So Power Stone was my thing.
Yeah.
And then it still kind of stayed in that similar realm because it moved to GameCube. It was a while before I got to PlayStation 2. Like, honestly, pretty near the end of PlayStation 2's life is when I finally like dove into the bigger consoles. And then PC gaming is something I've only recently come to engage with a lot. Part of that being because when my parents got me a personal computer for high school and everything, it was a Mac. So PC gaming wasn't a priority in my mind for a long time.
Neither for them.
Yeah. Yeah, consoles are weird, man.
Yeah, no, just to hear all these stories just makes me like, wow, we all had very different upbringings when it came to video game consoles. Because when I was a kid growing up, I was exactly like you, Sparkz. I can only play video game consoles if I went to a friend's house who had a console.
Now that I'm remembering, like thinking about it though, the other thing is my parents were much more interested in portable consoles, like the Game Boy.
That's what
I had pretty much every iteration of Game Boy because my parents and we used to travel a lot to go on like long trips. They thought that was a great thing that I could do in the car. So they thought that made a lot more sense than the console that sits in front of the television. So I had a lot of those.
It's time for our first tangent. Game Boy accessories. The little stupid magnifying glass thing with the light.
Yes.
I had a little light for driving in the van on late night drives so that I could see because the screen wouldn't light up itself. So you had the little light that sits on the top.
When my brother and I got our Game Boy Colors, my parents bought him the crazy ass Game Boy accessory that folded in. You open it up, it had the magnifying glass, it had the little light. Didn't light up the screen at all. It just looked like a piece of shit, and it had those speakers that has like stereo sound. It's like, this is a 8-bit. I don't know what the file was. I think it was MIDI for the Game Boys. These are tiny little chip tunes. Do you think I want to hear the chip tune in stereo? I do not, good sir.
It's like an IMAX screen for your Game Boy, but like the quality doesn't transfer.
No, it doesn't.
In my mind, the Game Boy just played Pokemon. I didn't even know there were other games on it.
Just Pokemon.
I thought it was the Pokemon.
Oh, my parents, God, because when we finally, so getting video game consoles in my house was really freaking hard when I was a kid. Because when I was a kid, my parents weren't anti-video games, but they were kind of like let's not buy games for the kids because we don't want them sitting in front of the TV for 12 hours a day.
Fair.
Yeah, because I mean, when I was a kid, I arguably watched a lot of TV, and I had like set TV schedules when Pokemon was on, when Digimon was on. I have to watch those shows every day after school at a certain time.
Man, it's different childhoods, man. I was raised by a TV, man. Oh man, so many video games.
I think there was a conspiracy.
What are you talking about?
Because I feel like everybody only had one game on every. I mean, obviously we all had more, but like I had to go to Tom's house to play Mega Man. I had to go to Brian's house to play Sonic. I think people came to my house to play any Mario related game.
The crazy thing is, I know your mom, and every time she wanted to buy you something, she gave it to me instead.
She gave it to you. Okay, got it.
She said,
didn't even run the idea.
Yeah, you might never meet him, but this is for you, Ryan.
I'm floored, and I don't have enough evidence proving otherwise.
It's crazy how the detective work works. It's crazy.
No, Thor, funny enough, when I was growing, like the first time I ever played a video game console was when way back in like 1993 when I lived in Murrieta, California. My brother was just born. My next door neighbor had a Sega Genesis with Sonic 2. So of course I went to his house and I wanted to go to his house because he was the only kid I knew who had a Sega Genesis. Yeah. And when I moved to my hometown of Diamond Bar, my next door neighbor in kindergarten, she had an SNES. And we only played 2 games on that SNES. We only played Super Mario World, and we would only play Street Fighter 2. And I only called them that Mario game and the fighting game.
Yeah.
That's all I knew them as.
My brother broke my Super Nintendo, and then I got a Sega.
This again.
I was so mad about this because I loved my Super Nintendo. Sega was cool. It took me a minute to get into it. I loved Sonic. I feel like Sonic and was Street Fighter on Sega Genesis too?
Eventually, Street Fighter came into Sega Genesis. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm trying to think. That's probably where I originally played Street Fighter, but Super Nintendo exclusively, just all Mario Brother games. That was it. But we had this like glass cat that somebody brought me from Mexico, and he stuck it into the game. I don't know why.
What do you mean?
I don't know why you did it.
There was a place to put it.
Stuck it into the hole and then just was shaking it around. And my dad took it apart, never put it back together. Okay. And that was the end of my Super Nintendo. But I loved my Super Nintendo.
Let it go.
I won't.
Let it go.
I refuse.
Oh God! Going back on the PSP. Just doing a quick little tangent. Because we had a PSP around launch because it was weird. My family would give my brother and I PlayStation consoles around. For some reason, we got Easter. Easter was the time for us to get PlayStation. I don't know why.
Cool.
We got our first PlayStation console.
He's risen. You got a game.
I was gonna say the Lord's favorite.
Yeah, our first actual home console was the Sony PlayStation. We got that on Easter morning, and we woke up. We saw our dad hooking it up. He gave us the demo disc and said, "This is how you turn on. This is what it said. Don't do this. I'm gonna go back to bed. We'll wait we'll find your baskets and eggs." And we were like, "Oh my God, we have our first home console!" Because we just had a PC growing up, like a Windows 95 PC, and our parents, of course, bought us games for that. But we're like, "Hey, we want this. No, it's too much money. But how about this? No, it's too much money. What about that? No, it's too much money. We're not going to get you that." Then, of course, here we go.
You just had to wait for our Lord and Savior to die. That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
And to be resurrected.
Yeah, 3 days later.
Easter got the PlayStation. And then years later when the PSP came out, I don't think we even asked our parents for the PSP because my brother and I thought, oh, the PSP is rad. But they bought us a PSP anyways.
That's amazing.
And we liked it. I bought the game we had when it first launched was Twisted Metal Head On, which was the one we played the most, and Metal Gear Solid Acid.
Okay, no.
Ryan, I know you're the biggest Metal Gear guy, but I have to say, Metal Gear Acid.
An irony.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I told the story to Sparkz when we were playing games that I was trying to get rid of my copy of Metal Gear Acid at the trade show, Frankenstein's here in Southern California, and no one wanted it. They were like, "No, I hate that," and I was straight like, "I just want to get rid of it."
So they have no taste.
No, I looked at the guy. I was like, "Dude, I don't care if I don't get any money from it. I just want to get it out of my possession. Can you just please take it?" He's like, "Okay, for sure." And he just tossed it in the 50-cent bin he had.
It's a cursed object.
Funny. A cursed object.
Of the Metal Gear games, that is definitely one of the side games. It's not.
Yeah.
People forget about that one. It's okay.
It's a card game.
We got movies with our PSP. I got Office Space as the movie.
Office Space too.
We have 2 PSP copies of Office Space.
And Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, it's Shaun of the Dead so good.
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
I had Toy Story also. I had How funny. Yeah.
And Crisis Core was the only game.
And I think the only game I played on it was and The Sims. I played The Sims on.
I don't regret anything.
The PSP. No, you know how? Now that I think about it, I'm actually depressed. How awesome was the PSP? It was pretty incredible.
They nailed it.
And what sucks is, I think both of I didn't own either of the PlayStation portable systems, the PSP or the Vita, but both of those systems were really good, especially that Vita. I don't know if any of you guys had a Vita, but my friend had one. That thing is legit a small console. That thing was impressive, and then it got turned into the Switch as well.
Yeah, it all leads to the Switch.
Yeah, but wasn't
your Zune
the graphics were great
turned into a
PSP,
Switch?
Unless I maybe
they were.
Well, because we watched a movie on them, so yeah, the graphics were pretty incredible. Yeah. It was way ahead of its time.
Yeah, I had Spider-Man 2, the movie, for my PSP when it first came out.
That's
so everyone had movies like that, and that was the brutal part. You're not turning those into anything. You're not going to download that into your Plex server. Sorry.
No,
I wonder if there's even a transfer device where you can put the UMD into a thing. I wonder if that thing even exists.
No, transfer device is a garbage can.
What was the thing that lost the Blu-ray? Ultra HD.
Ultra HD.
Where are those at?
That's so funny. That's true.
Just regrets. They've all turned into regrets.
When you couldn't play Blu-rays on the Xbox and you could only play them on the PlayStation because Microsoft was the one trying to push the Ultra HD and they lost that fight.
Yeah.
No, they totally did. Man, we should we should all come back for another episode. Just talk about the PSP. Like, wow,
I didn't have one. That's the one I didn't have.
eBay it. It's worth a goodbye. eBay it with Crisis
we
Core.
currently have two. I think are we getting rid of one?
No, I think I need mine.
The one with the commercials with like the squirrels.
Yes.
Where it's like, this is nuts.
It's a nut. It's a nut.
I think that's a Kia Soul you're thinking about. It's the Kia Soul.
Oh god, those old commercials. No, my PSP unfortunately was lost time. We lost the console right before Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep came out because my brother was mostly using the PSP to go on the internet while my parents banned him from using the computer.
Solid.
So he can like sneak his way back onto MySpace and talk to his friends when he wasn't supposed to.
On the internet, on the oh my god.
You can go on the internet. So can consoles ever get the internet right?
I remember I used my Wii's internet. And it's like using the Wiimote and try to like type shit in, and it's the slowest thing, but it worked. But it took like 30 seconds for anything to load.
It's just how hard is it to make a browser? There's a billion browsers on a PC, but it's like, guys, you're borderline computers. Just do the internet. Come on.
Yeah.
Find a way.
Yeah. Nintendo's very, very behind in the times of like online stuff. Like they're just now getting online for their games and stuff. And I'm like, you'll get there one day. You'll all be kosher in like 30 years.
I mean, I'm just going to let you know that going to other people's islands on Animal Crossing is very easy.
Yeah, but I like Nintendo. Again, they were like, go out there and have friends. Make your friends and play these games with at least 3 people, because as an adult, you're not going to have more than 5 friends. So they're like, this is your life. You only need 4 ports because, like, let's be honest, high school only lasts so long. And when you're out on your own, that list is going to get a lot more narrow. So it's okay to only have 4.
Speaking of that, like Xbox and PS2 had like adapters. You can have like 8 controllers, and I'm like, what games even allow 8 people in them? Like I don't know if games existed that allowed that.
Yeah, well, you didn't qualify. It's like it's something that unlocks if you have 7 friends.
Oh, got it.
Then you find the catalog of all of the other games that require 7 people.
Well, now technically with the Switch, you can do what, 8 people on Mario Kart?
Yeah, it's just traffic.
But everybody has to. 2 people have to use the tiniest controls of all time.
Yeah, I got these big hands. It's hard.
I mean, this. Oh god, the Switch. I think in this current generation, the Switch is probably my favorite console to come out, just because of how versatile it is, how easy it is.
The Switch legitimately might be the best console ever made. Like I'm just saying it. Because it's not only a good Nintendo console, you can also take it anywhere, like a PSP. It's a nut you can play.
Yeah.
You know what, Ryan? I think I'll actually, because don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore my PlayStation 4. I absolutely love it. I'm probably never gonna get rid of it. But
what if
just looking at the Switch is like, man, Danny could be watching Netflix or whatever on the PS4, and I could be like, okay, just take the Switch off the dock and just play it myself. And when she's done, I can put it back on and just play from my TV. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about pushing a button. I can just like hit pause, put it on, turn my other controller on, and boom, there it is.
Now, the Switch is definitely, I mean, top 5, top best consoles.
Oh yeah.
I think the major thing that holds the Switch back is just like we already said, Nintendo's behind the times on multiplayer online availability. Like the fact that if you have Mario Party, you want to play online with a friend, you can't play with you and your like roommate with that person who's in the other home and their roommate. You can't do that. You can only have one person get online on your Switch. And I'm like, that makes no sense.
Bro, that has been solved since like the original Xbox.
Yeah, and like, it's that kind of stuff where I'm like, that really hurts the Switch. I'm like, this is very basic stuff. This should be easy.
This is the question.
It's just hard for me to be hard on Nintendo because like they're always like this, and I'm like, it's hard for me to disappoint it because you're always disappointing me. But they make great consoles and great games. It's just like it's not 1997, Nintendo. Come on.
If Nintendo finds a way, this is the dream world for me. They make a phone. I buy my Nintendo phone. You can just turn that bad boy over, play your games, party with people online. They'll figure that out too.
Sure.
then I don't need the console anymore because I've already got my phone, my game system in my pocket, and then I can multiplayer for forever. What up?
Well, you see,
Did you have the N-Gage when it came out?
I was just about to mention the N-Gage. I was just about to mention that thing. Oh Lord!
What is this?
It was a phone. It was maybe like in like 2005. It was a phone, also a video game console, but it bombed. It was bad. It was nobody did anything.
It's 2005. Yeah, of course it didn't make it.
Yeah.
Hold up.
We weren't even doing phones good at that time. And they were like, let's just dive in.
Yeah.
No,
They went
we
hard
were
and
still making phones tiny.
Yeah.
We were still into like really tiny phones then.
I've really felt that detriment to the Switch during the pandemic because almost everybody people who don't play a lot of games who I want to connect with have Switches.
Yeah.
They don't have any other console, but they have a Switch. But the thing is that there's very few games where I can actually connect with them in a group setting and play.
Yeah.
It's just not easy. And I'm like, that just sucks.
Yeah.
That you kind of end up having to go back to PlayStation and Xbox or PC for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it just goes to what Thor was saying. Like Nintendo's like, I hope you have real friends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even the advertisement for the Switch, do you remember the commercial? Like those dudes were popular. I think they were in an outdoor roof party and they were like, let's bust out that Switch. And they were like, yeah, I've got my Switch right here in my back pocket. And then they played.
That's so funny.
They'll regularly have groups of like 4 people who get together and they're all brought their own personal Switch so you can lay it on the table and play the games where it goes across all the Switches. And
my Switch has a stand.
Okay. You guys are laughing? Here's the thing though. I went to a Switch party and we did all bring out, like literally my friend was like, bring your Switch.
Guess what? Brought more Switches.
And I think that definitely has like a plus on the Switch. It's just, again, like the pandemic time has really highlighted where that multiplayer has failed.
Absolutely, yeah.
I guess I've just been playing a lot of solo games. I was very focused on my island.
Have you guys played Genshin Impact at all?
No.
Yeah.
It's because it's cross-platform. It's awesome that I can play on my Xbox, my computer, and my phone.
That's insane.
Well, that's where it's going. And
Yeah.
so if you can't do stuff like even playing Madden, so Madden has a ultimate team. So you have to buy characters and whatnot and cards, and there's an auction house. You can do the auction house piece on your phone. And the only thing that you kind of get frustrated with is the other menial tasks that you can't do on your phone. So if I can't portably game, like that's kind of what I'm keeping my eye out for is what PC games are going to come out there that are also going to be compatible with my mobile device. And my initial reason for consoles for the longest time was because they were so much more affordable than a gaming PC. Like when they came out, like the Xbox, $300 for something to play games on is the equivalent of $1,200 at that point in time to have a gaming PC.
Side note. I was younger. I did do some PC gaming. I think this is why my dad moved to the consoles very kind of quickly, was because I loved The Sims. I had The Sims Hot Date, The Sims Pets, The Sims, just every expansion pack you could possibly think of.
Did you play the Black Eyed Peas version, the Herbs Sims in the Sims?
Outstanding.
Oh no, because at one point my dad said, I'm not putting any more of these games on the computer. I have no more memory.
Yeah.
Like you can't play these
and
anymore.
That's the other piece. You'd run out so quick because storage, memory, everything couldn't handle it.
So he moved me off of that. That's where he's like, you got to play this somewhere else. And also, it kind of bummed me out.
But PC games,
way better life
PC games were so consistently like just the movie, like the lower version of the movie. I played the Harry Potter game, and it was just like I could see a blocky Daniel Radcliffe, and I just played the exact order of what the movie was. Learned nothing, had no special anything. It was just, it's like, did you want to watch this movie or did you want to pay another $20 to get a worse version of it?
I will not lie. The Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone game that EA put out for the PlayStation 1 is actually a very fun collectathon. I had a lot of fun playing that game.
That's funny.
I didn't play all the Harry Potter games.
Yeah,
but they turned from like nice fun adventure games into Gears of War. I don't know if you played the Deathly Hallow game or like whatever the last one was, but it's a turn-based shooter or a cover-based shooter where you're like going hide behind cover, and I'm like, that looks horrible. I was like, shit, I'm never playing this game.
I'd rather go back to the Collectathon because at least the Collectathon had full voice acting, and also it had Peeves, the ghost that never showed up in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Peeves the ghost that never showed up in the movie. Full name on that character? Or
Peeves the ghost.
that never showed up in the movie.
That never showed up in the movie.
Peeves the poltergeist.
Oh,
There you
Right?
go. Alliteration.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been forever since I last read Sorcerer's Stone. But so go man. So I have like a little list. So I have like some notes here of different consoles, like some my personal best ones, the ones that I felt I had no chance the second they hit the market, and also the bad ones, or at least a few bad ones that just got off the top of my head. Which one do you want to talk about first?
I want to hear the bad ones.
Well, the two consoles that I have written that are like quote unquote bad, one has a little bit of an asterisk to it, is the Sega Saturn. And the one with the asterisk is the PlayStation 3, because the PlayStation 3, while it became great at the end of its life, had a disastrous launch.
Oh my god, that's my favorite. I love talking about the launch of the PlayStation 3 because the PlayStation 2 was like the highest selling console of all time. Like PlayStation was on top of the world. And then they were like, instead of making like another regular console, let's use our own proprietary technology to create our own new console. And they use cell processing. And when you did that, it was really expensive. So the consoles were $600. And the company said, hey, you guys will get a second job if you really want the console, LOL. And everyone hated that. That's not funny. And the cell processing makes it impossible to work on because so many people are used to working on regular computer stuff, and they're trying to work on this new technology that they've never worked on. So a lot of launch games were really bad, and a lot of the games that would be good on the Xbox would be really bad on the PlayStation because they're working with software that they're not used to. And then eventually it got good, but man, yeah, that first 2 years of PlayStation 3 was rough, buddy. Oh boy.
Oh God, no! I remember just the price tag for like the top of the line PS3 that was backwards compatible all the way through. It was backwards compatible PS1, PS2, and
I have an opinion. I already know.
Yeah, everything about the PS3 was like just like, oh yeah, give me that sweet nothing. But then the second is like, yeah, this is $600. My parents were like, oh hell no, because they knew, because we were a PlayStation family. We had the PS1, the PS2, so we were like aching for a PS3. But the second we saw that price tag, we were like, my brother and I like instantly knew. Like the second the price was announced, our hearts just dropped, and we're like, "Oh, we're not getting the PlayStation 3." And then a few years later, or sometime later, the Xbox 360 was looking good, and then the Nintendo Wii was announced, and I'm like, "Hey, I really want a Nintendo Wii." So that was the one generation where my parents or my family, we skipped a Sony console, and we had an Xbox 360 and a Nintendo Wii in our household.
Yeah.
The PS3 was of that generation was the last console that I got as well. I eventually got it, but I got it when it was like half off.
Man, 360 was a good time.
Yeah, 360.
Big aspirations for what it wanted to do.
Yeah. Especially like with online, there was online stuff at the Xbox, the original Xbox, and even the PS2 had some capabilities. But the 360, like that really helped solidify like Xbox Live and like playing with friends online, and like the amount of Halo I played online is unfathomable. Like I can't even tell you how many hours I played Halo 15 years ago at this point now.
Yeah.
Not only that, like I remember high school, just a whole lot of like LAN parties based around Xbox.
Oh, I love LAN parties.
Just like everybody.
I mean, popularity was determined by it. For me, if I had a bad streak, and if you weren't in the mid to high 20s on Halo 2, yeah, you might not even go to prom.
Yeah, no, she would dunk you like immediately. Yeah. The boys would text her. Did you see his score in Big Team Battle?
Halo.
Yeah, done.
Halo on the 360 and LAN parties is how I got good at games,
yeah.
Because I got invited to it by friends all the time, and they all like I had just gotten a 360 and I hadn't even, and so like I was just getting wasted all the time, and they're just like, yeah, get good.
Yeah, correct. I still think they're right to this day.
And I did, but it took a lot.
Yeah, man, I haven't thought. And LAN parties, that's a crazy thing. Like, yeah, like we had like we brought like a bunch of TVs and all our consoles, and like in like a bunch of different parts of the house. Like I haven't thought of that in a long time. Yeah, that's kind of magical.
Right.
Can I put a controversial bad console?
Sure.
Go for it.
Sure. And the reason it's controversial is because I think from a business standpoint, it was probably a bad idea.
Okay.
But that Nintendo Wii gave the best game that was on the Wii for free with the Wii.
Oh,
the fact that you could play Wii Sports by default I don't think I ever got any other games.
No joke, Thor. I think the Wii is I think the Wii might be the high selling console next to the PlayStation 2, but that is a lot of older people love the Wii, and all they did, that's their bowling device.
Yes.
That is their Pokemon machine, but it's for bowling. So
I played. Yeah, I had a Pokeboy, and then I had a Wii Sports. Was it?
That's so funny. You know, no, please. Okay.
In no way to be insulting with the Nintendo Wii, that was the console for your parents.
My mom
got a Wii.
My mom has a Wii.
Mm-hmm.
My mom hates video games and she bowls all the time still. And I'm
That's
like,
funny.
Phone.
What is Wii U, by the way?
I know people who know it or have it. It's crazy.
I would say Wii U was Wii U was obviously a commercial failure for Nintendo just because it didn't sell well and because people were confused by what it was. I was confused by what it was because I thought when I first saw the trailer for the Wii U, I thought, oh, is this an add-on for my Wii where you get a gamepad? No, it's an entirely new system, and this one can finally play DVDs. We're now 3 steps behind Sony and Xbox that have been able to do that for us since freaking ever.
I thought it was educational.
That is like Wii University.
Yeah, I thought it was an educational
I gotta take
version.
this program, then I can actually use my Wii. Gotta graduate. I gotta get that diploma.
Education and how to fail at game development.
Exactly. See, the Wii didn't do it for me. Only once it was fat shaming you. Do you know
Oh yeah, you're like, how would you get a scale? Can you stand on it?
But also, your Wii person would be fat. If you put it,
Hey, my mom's not a video game player. She has a Wii balance board for that thing too. It's crazy how that thing marketed to regular folk in a way that no other console ever did.
I will never forget one Christmas. My mom wanted a Wii Fit. She wanted the Wii Fit game with the balance board that came bundled with the game. She got it for Christmas, and every time it was for the longest time it was just sitting in the corner in the box. And she finally took it out. She's like, "Oh, Ben, I need you to help me set my Wii my balance board." Okay. Years later, and she never touched it.
Of course not. You don't want to actively do that unless they partner. I mean, they can bring this whole thing back. Okay. You get people to buy balance boards, Wii Fitbits, and then and then you make it MyFitnessPal, so you enter your food.
Oh no,
they have it all tracked.
Thor,
they did something.
Yeah,
right?
I have that
Fit thing.
What is this?
Yeah, Ring Fit Adventure. It's a fitness game for the Nintendo Switch that I own and I actually have played and I need to go back to once my toe is done healing because that is actually a good workout.
Yeah, I want to get that actually.
What is this workout? You showed me that you were just squeezing something
it's a ring. It's like a ring that's what's the word?
I'm gonna let you. I owned a gym for a period of time, guys, and this movement, I don't know if it's gonna cut it. I don't. There's gotta be more.
Okay.
To what
right, so Thor.
Do it a lot.
So Thor, here's what you have. You have what you need to do. You can't play this with a Pro Controller. You have to have your 2 Joy-Cons off the Switch. Mm-hmm. So you attach one Joy-Con to the Ring Con, and you attach another Joy-Con to a leg strap, which you attach it to your leg. So then you do all these different exercises. Sometimes you push in the Ring Con, you pull it out, you put it upside your head.
I've done Pilates once, and I'm used to things that require a lot of different positions and craziness. So I only did one session, and there was a wooden machine, and this woman kept telling me that I wasn't tightening things, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Anyway,
long story short, you basically do an adventure game where you're shooting arrows or you're fighting monsters, but basically you have to push in on the ring or pull the ring or bring it over your head. I don't know. It looks fun.
It looks fun. I don't know. Is it the effective workout? How many calories are we burning?
It's fun until you have to do squats to advance, and then your legs are over you, and then you get to the dragon, the boss level, and then because there's this big effing dragon you have to beat the end of every world, and then you're like, oh great, I have to fight him, and you have to do a multitude of exercises to beat him, and then those exercises include more squats.
Yeah, chest, shoulders, and legs. I guess. I mean, that is a workout.
I love it.
So,
that's funny.
The key part that I know about it that I think is why it's been effective as an exercise thing is because it corrects your posture.
Oh, wonderful.
From the sensors, it's able to tell you, no, you're not in the right position, get here. So that you actually feel where it's doing something, and that's why it's been so effective. And you have to hold it.
And again, like to credit to Nintendo, you know, sometimes I'm negative, but to credit, like they're always trying to innovate, and they're always trying to do stuff that no one else is doing. Like they've always been trying to do weird fitness stuff with video games, and then Xbox and PlayStation tried to copy that with like Kinect and shit, and none of that worked. And it just didn't work. Whereas like the Wii Fit stuff, people really like it. And the Ring Fitness thing, that's like an actual workout machine. Like it actually works, and you play a video game while doing it. Like it's weird that it exists, but it's like cool for people who want it.
No, it's awesome. I think that it is that's another future of video game consoles, is being able to gamify working out and home workouts. That's literally where everything's going. Peloton success, those random mirror success.
Just Dance. Like my mom loves Just Dance, and that's kind of a workout.
Our mom loves Just Dance.
I will tell you the one thing with the
Just Dance
the Kinect and I think Xbox definitely did it better than PlayStation because the Kinect I think came with the Xbox.
No,
it didn't.
It was additional too.
Right.
Well, later on it became bundled.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, really?
So maybe by the time I finally got it, I delved into Xbox, even though I will complain, don't like the controllers. Yeah, but I thought that part was really fun. We actually would have Just Dance parties where we just dance.
Nailed it.
But always, it's all TikTok dances. Now.
And the singing too. Wasn't there a singing game?
No, that I just do that on my phone.
That you. It would tell you if your pitch was right, and now it's a TV show.
Rock Band?
No, Rock Band was its own thing for sure. But
so
did Rock Band also
tell
you sang for Rock Band?
There was a
Rock Band.
There was a singing game called Lips, where it was kind of like Rock Band, but just for singing. Where you can buy song. It's called Lips. Yeah. But that was on the Wii. People like that. Yeah.
For the PlayStation 2, and we had this. It was a karaoke revolution.
Oh, okay.
Where you have like it's essentially just a karaoke game, but you have like X amount of songs from just a certain amount of genres, and then it's like when we got that game, because that game was actually the hit of my brother's birthday party for a good.
Definitely not your brother. That's nice. Your brother wasn't the hit of his birthday party.
He's just sitting in a corner.
Oh. No, I'll always remember my 18th birthday party, because my 18th birthday party was where I got a Guitar Hero World Tour with the drum set, the mic, and for the entire like we would like do cake and presents, but as soon as like people showed up and we had enough people to fill out the spots, that's all we did. The entire night was just continuous Guitar Hero. Yeah. I think we beat the game actually in one go. Didn't even know there was a game to beat. I thought you just unlocked songs.
That's how I play.
I can't tell you how many Rock Band specifically. Like I played Guitar Hero like since the first one, but Rock Band, when you can have two guitars, the singer and a drummer. My parents loved that game, so like we played that as a family unit, and I would throw parties in high school. No joke, almost weekly, where a bunch of people would come over and we would just be in a rock band and just play songs and have fun. And that was like a nice, fun way to like just stay off the streets and not be bad. Just hang out and sing the Who.
That is the purpose of Rock Band, to keep kids off the streets.
Yeah,
get them off the streets. Say no to the streets and say yes to Rock Band.
That's the new song.
We want the rockers now.
Yeah.
If only guitars had 5 buttons.
The Guitar Hero.
They made that new Guitar Hero controller. Did you see? It's completely different. It's got like 2 on each side. It's weird.
Yeah,
just put the strings on there. Teach me how to play.
See, that would be if they take it to the next level where you actually learn the instrument.
There is.
Now you're educational. There is.
Rocksmith.
Yeah.
I need to play that game.
There is a game for the Xbox, and I want to say PS3, but I know for sure it's on the Xbox 360. It's called Rocksmith, and I want to say that it comes with a special USB cable that you can plug your guitar in one side, and then you plug the USB into your console, and it teaches you how to play guitar.
Yeah, I watched a couple of videos on it. It's not like Rock Band. It's actually using music notes and like using a real guitar, and it teaches you progression and note stuff. And I'm like, that's how you gamify making music. Like you actually teach music.
If you get the platinum trophy, you're on Warped Tour.
Yeah, no, you're part of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yeah.
You get if you beat the game and you're in the top 2%, you get to go to Weenie Roast.
That's
Yeah.
so funny because I do remember hearing a song and being like, "Oh, I know this one, Red, Red, Blue." Where we are.
It's like that South Park episode where they do Guitar Heroes. Like he played Guitar Hero acoustically, and that one kid is just has a guitar and it's going click, 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 and then everyone else in the restaurant is like, "I love this song." Clap, clap.
So funny.
God.
Man, I remember last thing on Rock Band. I remember thinking, I'm just like, man, I'm a real guitarist, just playing on like videos.
This is real life. This is my life.
I cannot tell you how cool it was to finally nail the solo in Spanish Castle Magic. I never went past medium because my fingers don't move like that.
Yeah.
My brother he knows how to play real guitar, and plus when we got Guitar Hero, he was playing everything on like hard/expert, and me, I just want to enjoy the music, man. So I'm doing medium. I don't care.
That's so funny.
Actual last thing now on Guitar Hero. My friend who played guitar really, really well, never played Guitar Hero before, and he picked it up and he's like, "What setting should I try?" I'm like, "Probably easier, medium." And he went to expert, and I'm no joke, like halfway through the song, he picked it up and he was doing it. I'm like, I hate you so much. You're so talented. Oh my God. Like,
+5 to dexterity.
Was the song he picked through the fire and flames?
I don't think so. I hope not. That would ruin me. That's too good.
Dude, even on medium, I couldn't play. When I locked in Guitar Hero 3, I'm like, yeah, Dragon Force! Because this was back in the time when everyone and their mother knew about Dragon Force. And then when I tried to go back and play it normally instead of during the credits when that was a freebie, I couldn't even get halfway through the song.
That's so
who would have known YouTube would have been more than just people playing Dragon Force on Guitar Hero? I didn't see it coming.
No. Oh, God. So there's another bad console that I actually thought of that because I remember Sparkz said something about Nintendo being innovative, and this is like when the Wii was created, that was innovation done very well because everyone could pick up a Wii. It was super easy to play. There's another console that Nintendo kind of likes to sweep under the rug, but of course, us being on the internet, we will never forget, and that's the Virtual Boy. You guys remember this one?
Absolutely not.
Oh God! But Sparkz, what about you? Do you remember the Virtual Boy? No. It was Nintendo's. It came out right after the Game Boy came out. It was Nintendo's shot at like VR. So the console was this big giant red VR headset where you could put your face to, and you had to stay still. You couldn't move, and you had this weird ass controller in your hand.
You had to like prone, and it's like on the floor.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
So the reason why.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So of course the reason why this failed, and so it did like weird virtual reality, but the only thing was that the only color you would see through like the display was red. There was no other color. It was just red, and you were prone to headaches. And this thing bombed hard. I think only like 13 games were ever released for the Virtual Boy.
So you know how dope like when the 3DS came out and there was like 3D without glasses, and you're like, wow, how did they do this? They tried to do it in the 90s and it bombed because everything was red and it gave everyone headaches. And I'm like, let's scrap this for 15 years until it gets good.
Stop with bringing up exclusively red. Like that thing is a red plastic piece. It's like you could have go with something else.
Yeah,
get away from that color, Nintendo.
Isn't it weird that people thought VR was just going to be like more than it is? Like
more than porn.
Every time they keep trying to do it, it just never.
It's just porn. It's for porn.
That's it.
that's what virtual reality the thing is designed
every game
for.
ever made is exclusively porn. Just none of us have played it because we can't VR. That's the thing about VR. Like come on, camera, come back to vision. Okay. Anyway, VR is so expensive, right? Like, if you want to play Half-Life Alyx, you need like $2,000 because you need a good PC and you need like the Oculus Rift, the Super Max Pro, or whatever, and you got to buy the game. So I'm never playing that game. Apparently, it's really cool. It's like the best VR game ever made. I'm never gonna know that, and that's just a problem. Over time, VR is going to have to get better and cheaper. But for now, like it is just going to be that fun experiment because it's too niche for anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
The only VR game that I would love to try is at least once in my life is Beat Saber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I see a few people I follow on Instagram. They play Beat Saber, and it looks really cool. It looks really neat, and it also looks like a fun exercise game. It's like It's like, yeah, it's like DDR used to be.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I got DDR. This is my exercise routine. So with the Beat Saber, oh yeah, I remember. I still suck at DDR. I can't play DDR anymore. But with Beat Saber, it's like, yeah, you go. It's like you're banging a drum. And I think that's fun.
You know what I'm upset about? PlayStation tricked me into buying the virtual reality version of Five Nights at Freddy's, and I don't have the VR to the PlayStation, so I just had a game I can't play. I mean, it was $5. Let's just put it that way. It wasn't that expensive, but they sold me this like huge bundle, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play this game," but you can't.
Yeah,
just can't do it.
That's funny because the PS5's out now, right? But like I don't have a PS5, so if you go to the PlayStation Store, you can accidentally buy a PS5 game, and it will still work on your PS4. But like that, it's very easy for people to make those mistakes, especially with VR games, because there's so many sales and they don't differentiate like VR games and these or that.
Yeah, it's just like one tiny little VR.
Yeah, hey, please pay attention or you might get screwed.
The game
the Hitman franchise. Hitman 3 just came out, and that all those games are now available in VR. And I watched the video, and that looks like the stupidest, most fun I've ever seen in my life. Of your hands rubbing, just like you punch a dude. So like one day I'll play that, but again, VR is so expensive, so like who knows?
Didn't you say that like weirdly the Walking Dead VR game is one of the best VR games too?
Yeah, actually, there's a Walking Dead game that came out last year that apparently is like super dope and really like visceral and like get you in the game. And I'm
That's
like,
funny.
You're like sneaking up behind zombies and like stabbing them in the head. I'm like, that seems pretty cool. Never gonna play
My fear is I'll run into a wall. It's just I'll get so scared, but wearing the VR just run into a wall.
No, if I ever get a PlayStation VR, it's not in my plans to get PSVR, but if I ever do, I'm definitely gonna get Resident Evil 7 VR because apparently playing Resident Evil 7 in the VR is like the scariest thing. I remember seeing this video of a grandma, this poor grandma playing Resident Evil 7 with the PlayStation VR.
Hold on, we all cut out, so we didn't have no idea what you were saying. So repeat what you were just saying.
Oh, I was talking about this poor grandma. There's this video of this poor grandma playing Resident Evil 7 on a VR headset, on a PlayStation VR headset, and she is just freaking out.
Why would they do that to their grandma?
I don't know.
So rude.
Life insurance
for the likes.
For the likes.
Probably. This video's been circling the internet. I've seen it a few times making rounds. It's like, this poor grandma. She's like screaming, like she turns around and there's like a little screen where you can see what she's seeing. And there's like that one girl, I think Ethan's wife, when she comes up at the very beginning of the game, she's like, she goes, ah! She's like, oh God. Screaming.
Resident Evil 7 is like one of the scariest games ever made. And then being in VR, you can play that whole game in VR like regularly. Doubles it. And yeah, seeing the videos, I'm like, I'm really into scary shit, and I just don't know if I can do VR horror because I only have so many pants to change.
Sure,
you know, like I haven't been on in a while. Like it's those Baker family people. They're cannibals and they're scary.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God,
it does feel like VR's greatest future lies in horror and exercise.
Yeah,
those will be the two.
Yeah.
You just need a multi-directional
bubble
treadmill.
Oh yeah.
You need one of those things to run.
They exist. Mad expensive.
Yeah. I mean, Peloton hasn't done it yet, but once they do, then you've got your crew of people.
Finally run the Hokkaido Ekiden.
What? The Hakone Ekiden.
Hakone Ekiden.
Come on, please.
Excuse
me. And then you can look really stupid to all your friends who are watching you do it.
Hell yeah.
I would just want to relive. I just want to do track days. I wish I would have ran track.
Do you?
Just wait.
I don't regret it at all. That track
would a VR machine, and then you can just run track virtually.
But this is the advertisement that my high school had for their track team was our sport is your sport's punishment, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not a masochist. I'm not joining.
That is a bad slogan. How did they
I'm out. Sorry, but it did make them seem cooler. Yeah. But I'm like, I'll stick to wrestling and lacrosse, whatever.
Yeah. I like to run with purpose. I'm being chased.
I like to run with the wing exclusively.
I mean, I like to skate because growing up, my favorite sports to play were baseball and hockey. And hockey, it was running, but I guess a little bit more fun in my defense Because baseball, you only run like 90 feet, and then that's just like quick sprints, and then you're done.
Love it. I prefer that. Boom! I'm out. Then I'm done. Great.
I run on no man's schedule. No man tells me what to run.
I think it was hard as a gamer, and I know this is probably not anybody else's opinion, but Tony Hawk and their pro skater games gave me a unrealistic expectation for how skating would be. And so I got a skateboard, and I spent so long trying to learn how to kickflip, could not do it. I think I could accidentally do it, and I'm like, so realistically, I'm never going to be doing a 360, triple bypass down a ramp.
Take your
Is that not a move? Then I wasn't paying attention.
Teach us how to skateboard. Let's go.
Tony Hawk got me escape. Oh, sorry.
I played a lot of like sports games growing up. And then I'm like, thinking like, BMX games, skating games. I tried a couple surfing games even. I'm like, man, I bet this is all easy. Yeah, and I break my skateboard like the first day I bought it. And I'm like, well, like legit, it got ran over the first day that I bought it, so I never skateboarded again.
Yeah. And I didn't get into rollerblading, one, because I had an accident. And then the other, because I couldn't do graffiti. And I felt like if you were riding on roller skates, you had to do graffiti places, or maybe have a sticker and slap it on a thing. I didn't have either. I just didn't have the inventory or the skills.
Someone played Jet Set Radio back in the day.
Exactly right. And that's what you were supposed to do. And I didn't have cool headphones.
No.
Okay, so I feel like I was robbed a little bit with the Sega Dreamcast. Because I had a Sega Dreamcast. I loved the Sega Dreamcast. I didn't own a Genesis until much later in my life. I finally have my Genesis Mini plugged into my TV right now. But the only Sega console, like true console, I had the Game Gear, but that's a different story, was my Sega Dreamcast. And I wanted it for the sole reason to play Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
Correct. That's what Brian had.
Yeah. But,
that's funny.
But as the Dreamcast life went on, because I bought it because I got it for Christmas. I want to say right when Sega announced that they were going to discontinue the system, and then hardly Dreamcast games were being made. So I never got Power Stone. I never got Jet Set Radio. I never got Space Channel 5. I had Sonic, a few sports games. Echo the Dolphin for some freaking reason.
Everybody had
Echo was on every system.
I had Echo the Dolphin. I played it constantly. Found it relaxing, except for when you were being attacked by sharks.
What was the point of the game?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Aliens in that Echo the Dolphin game.
What?
Aliens in Echo the Dolphin.
I want to say that it was in the Genesis version because I could play the Genesis version thanks to my Mini, but I want to say that you're right, but I'm not 100% sure.
That's so funny.
Give it a good. I'm pretty sure
that's some real fan fiction.
That's
like the other.
I didn't get to that level.
Was Echo named the dolphin, or did it just have the ability to echo?
Oh no! When the guy created Echo the Dolphin,
yes.
When the main designer for Sega was making a new game, he's like, "Oh no, it's gonna be about a dolphin." Apparently, everyone in the office is like, "Yeah, dolphins, man."
Dolphins were so hot in the 90s. You kidding me?
They were so majestic up until you found out that they
sea animals were really popular in the 90s.
Oh,
I cared about whales and dolphins. And then fish.
Yeah, I mean whales. Remember, we were constantly trying to free Willy.
Not on the Dreamcast version.
Okay.
However, Ben is correct. On the Genesis version, yes, there is a horrifying final boss called the Vortex Queen.
Yep.
Who is a potent nightmare fuel, gargantuan, disembodied H.R. Geiger alien-like head monster.
I remember that.
It would be an HR. That alien would work in HR.
Oh my Lord! I had
to don't give me new health insurance. Just give me the same package from last year. If I don't turn it in, use the same. Don't give me the max. I don't need that.
Come on, Karen.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
That's funny.
Genesis. I didn't have a Genesis, and I also love Power Stone, but I love Power Stone because I played it at the arcades.
Oh, okay.
Power Stone was an arcade game too?
Hell yeah, it was.
Ooh.
That's how I played it.
It bums me out to this day that Power Stone and Power Stone 2 from the Dreamcast haven't been revived anywhere.
And they've made other companies have made spiritual successors, but they're not good. And yeah, that's such a cool franchise that they could bring back. But I wonder if it's like a rights thing that just somebody has.
I can't get over that there were levels in Power Stone where you could go back in a V shape in the arena. And you'd move in a 3D space, but then you jump up and you still do the 2D fighting. And
yeah,
I can't. no fighting game did that.
The game's
back
dope.
then.
Yeah.
No, the thing with Sega, because Sega was very going back to like all the way back to the Genesis. Because when Sega wanted to get into the game, they had the Master System. The Master System didn't do very well here in America because the NES was top of the hill. And then when Sega did the Genesis whole route, that was when, okay, we have the Genesis, let's fight Nintendo. Then Nintendo comes out with this SNES, we know about the console war. The thing with Sega that also eventually bit them in the ass down the line was that they were too innovative too early. Like, that's one of the reasons why I have the Sega Saturn in my bad console list and also in my console that had no chance list.
Yeah.
Because when the Saturn dropped, Sega didn't have a plan. And it's like, hey, we're like, when they announced the Sega Saturn, it's like, by the way, you can buy this right now. And retailers were pissed. Developers didn't know what to do with the system because it was brand new architecture that they didn't have time to fix. And it's kind of like what happened with the PS3 with developers. It's like, here's this new thing. We don't have anything that plays this new thing.
That's so silly because like technology isn't like a birthday surprise. It's not something you just spring on someone and go, happy birthday. It's like happy new technology day. Hope you figure it out today. Like, no, you need to give that to people early so they know how to work on it. That seems really simple.
Yeah, and I mean, come on, look at Atari for crying out loud. Oh god, we can go probably do it. That's
well,
a whole episode.
And the fact that you can't collaborate like they did back in now, every system as you're developing, you can actually do like you have special developing portions of the Xbox Live or whatever. I know a lot more about Xbox than that, but for Xbox, they actually have like the developer platform, so people are developing live at the exact same point in time and they don't have to be in the same office. Versus like before, you had to have those developer consoles. They had to apply for applications, they had to get it, and it's like if you have to learn another architecture, you're not gonna just for one device. You're gonna learn how to maximize this architecture that'll work on these other 3 consoles.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I mean, that was a huge problem.
Sega does what Nintendo don't. Come on, Ben. You're the video.
Sega does what
Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
There you go. Thank you. I don't remember.
I mean, I may be wearing a Nintendo hat and Nintendo shirt, but I was born and raised a Sega kid. Purely by accident because my next door neighbor had the Genesis and I thought Sonic was like the coolest thing ever.
It was.
Yeah.
What's your favorite console?
I have a list because I remember Inga sprung this question on me when I was on her show, but so I have a few of my favorite consoles, but top 3 right off the top of my head is I don't know what the heck the cat is doing right now. I don't know if you can hear that. The PlayStation 2, the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, the Nintendo Switch, and the original PlayStation.
Yeah, good top 5.
Those are my top 5. Not in any particular order. Even once again, if I just sat down and thought, I could probably move stuff around. But those are the console. I mean, the NES. I feel like the NES is its own different category, just because of what the NES did to video games here in the United States in the middle 80s. Because we just came out of the video game crash. People were very iffy on video games, and then here comes Nintendo with the toaster, and everyone knows about. And then everyone knows about Mario. Everyone knows about Zelda, Metroid, and all those classic games that are mega franchises today. And now Mario is the most recognizable fictional character, beating out Mickey Mouse.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, Inga,
what
are your favorite? If you can name a top 5 or top 3, what are your favorite consoles of all time?
All right. So all time is a little tough, but I think I'm going to go like this. I'm going to start with the PlayStation 2.
Okay.
I'll go PlayStation 2. See this? I kind of want to do it by what I like now because it's hard. I don't know. Okay, so PlayStation 2. We'll put so the rest of these are not in any order. PlayStation 2 is number 1 though. PlayStation. I'm gonna go with the Switch. I'm also gonna go with Nintendo, and my last one would have to be. Maybe I only have 4. Yeah, I only have 4. No, and then the PlayStation 4. I actually really do enjoy the PlayStation 4 a lot. I'm not in any rush to upgrade.
If mine wasn't as loud as a jet engine, I would not be looking forward to switching it out. But like every time I turn that thing on, it's like, oh, like, I can't hear the game. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's like 7 years old. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
I'll say my not a dark horse, but maybe not everyone's choice is the 360 because my favorite type of game is open world games. I love where you can just drop me in a world and I can do something for 100 hours and I can do it in any order. And you really couldn't get those type of games until you had more power, more processing to have bigger open worlds. So games like Skyrim and games like the Assassin's Creed games, like those are what I gravitate towards for video games. And like those were like, especially Skyrim. Like for me, Skyrim was a game that I'm like, this is what I want video games to be. Like I love Skyrim so much, and like over time, like I still think that's the best game they've made. They've only gotten worse as over time, I think. But like, yeah, the 360, like I would say PS3, but half of those games weren't as good on the PS3 compared to the 360. If I had a PC, it'd be a different story. But yeah, I would go 360 for that, and like multiplayer, because that's when I got super hard in the multiplayer.
I would say Xbox is definitely one of the best consoles to come out because it gave some great single player experiences, but it solidified how people go to multiplayer games.
Yeah, for me, it has to be that original Xbox is the number one, and strictly because you loved playing Halo on it, but then Halo 2 was that experience and the explosion of online play mattering. I mean, I made close friends that lived in different states because of the fact that you would party up with those people. Like that was what online communities for me like were based off of. And I don't think I've ever been able to find a game that can kind of grip you. Maybe there's just so much more competition now too.
Yeah.
But because everybody all had the same game and everyone was on. If you just had a group of people that you meshed with on that voice chat at the exact same point in time and you could communicate well, it's like you created friendships.
It's kind of magical, really.
It was. Yeah. It's insane. And Halo 2 came out in 2004.
Okay.
Yeah,
isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
I remember my grandma bought that for me because I didn't think I was going to get it, and I
nailed it.
Great
job, Grandma.
I was like, and I was like, oh my God, Grandma, you have no idea how bad I wanted this.
It led to everything for me. It led to sports, like the crew of people that I was hanging out with in middle school to high school. Like I wouldn't have got into wrestling. I got into wrestling sophomore year, but my middle school friends, like our high schools, they went to a different high school, and then a new one was built, and we all came back together. They were playing. We still stayed in touch because of online games. And then when they came, they're like, you've got to join the team. Like, we got to just go. So that's how it was. And that dictated that. It's great.
I remember begging my parents when Halo 2 was coming out. I begged them for an Xbox because the only person that I knew who had Xbox was my friend who lived down in Marietta. We were still very close. We'd go visit him during the weekends. So of course, when Halo 2 came out, we were like, oh, can we go? Can we go? And I was like, Mom, Dad, please, can you get me an Xbox? It's like, no, you have your PS2. It was like, but I can't play Halo on that Xbox.
Yeah.
God, the hype. Man, I'm just thinking about that era. The hype for Halo 2. Holy shit!
For me, that is the best multiplayer online game that's ever come out because of the timing of it and the fact that the world was playing it at the exact same point in time.
Yeah,
and after that, we've all been chasing that feeling again. And it's just hard.
Think of all of those companies who tried to make like the Halo kill, or like they tried to make like Killzone, and those games are fine or whatever. And
oh my gosh, and YouTube at the time because of it too.
Yeah, it's true.
When you saw nothing but people shooting headshots, and like that was something that you could just watch.
No 360 no scopes.
Yes. It's crazy.
I played, I say 360 because like the Halo, but you're right. I think Halo 2, like I did make friends. I remember specifically, I made a close friend from Florida. And I played video games with that dude for 5 years until we just, parted ways because of life and stuff. But Halo 2 is super influential. Damn, what a game.
And then to round up my top three, I'll probably go, I'm bringing in the new stuff. It's going to be PC and mobile. That's my ecosystem. If I can do stuff on the phone and the computer, because I like it. I know the time. The thing that scares me about games is the time commitment.
Yeah.
And if I can't do some aspect of it on my phone when I'm literally doing nothing or, simultaneously, then I can't really feel like I'm going to dive into that world as much. That's why PC is important to me because I'm constantly working on computers now. And so I can have something running off to the side that I'm not necessarily paying attention to, but it's still like progressing because I also love open world games too. So
right on, yeah. We into Fortnite the last couple months, and that's a game you can play. I have a PC copy. I have my PlayStation copy. You can play that on your phone. Like that's like so many games. Again, like Genshin Impact is a Breath of the Wild sized open world game.
Yeah.
That you play on your phone. I cannot believe that exists, and that couldn't have existed even 5 years ago. Like you need the technology for that. But that is a game. Yeah, I could be playing it at work. I come home and my copy's exactly where it was, and I'm like, that's incredible. And
it's actively getting bigger. That's the best part, is that now with everything being continuous integration, continuous deployment, that is awesome. And so I want my games to grow.
I don't know. I know you're an Xbox guy. Game Pass is like the best thing on the planet. You can play a lot of Xbox games on your phone now with the mobile app. Like that shit is bananas. You can play Halo on your phone you can play with a controller. I'm like, man, the future.
And everything you get on PC at the same time.
And everything you get on PC. It's like, man, the future's wild. It's really cool.
You're right.
Yeah, I was actually kicking myself because the one game I have that's that I have on my phone, I also have on my Switch, is Among Us.
We can't stop playing Among Us.
Because I'm part of your Discord server, the Adults Talking Anime Discord server, and I saw you, our friends, Jelena, Haley, you guys were all playing Among Us. I was like, I missed it. I could have just joined in and be like, what's up?
Exactly.
Yeah, you could have, because we throw the just a Discord plug. We just throw the code in when we are playing. We just put it in the general chat, so you can sneak in on Among Us game if you can. And that's
the other reason I'm getting more attached to the PC and the mobile side, because collaborative apps. Now, you had to be on the same console in order to chat with anyone. Now it doesn't matter. Like you could be playing on your Switch and we can talk on Discord.
Well, that's what we're doing with Genshin Impact. He's been playing on his PC and I play on my PlayStation, and we're at level 16, so we can co-op it. We haven't delved too much into it, so I got to
figure out what the benefit
co-op in that game.
Yeah, when you hit,
are you kidding me? I wouldn't get into something where I can't collabo.
I mean, I think of big open world games, multiplayer isn't the first thing I think of.
Correct.
Amazing. God, that game's so cool.
Yeah, there's some hard monsters. I'm waiting. He needs to come help me because my characters aren't exactly strong enough to beat them. I'm at the level that we can play together, but I'm like, come help me beat this thing.
Yeah, I got a Barbara. And she's just gonna be a little tank.
No, because that's how I play. Co-op is how I play. I play Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne. I only play with my brother. Not because it's like, oh, it's too hard. It's because that I find myself having more fun playing co-op. Like last night, myself, Ryan, and Sparkz, they got me back into Fortnite. I played Fortnite once with my brother, and I hated it. I'm like, nope, Fortnite's not for me. Last night, I'm playing with these guys, and for some reason, it's like, man, this is actually kind of fun. I'm actually really getting into it. And we only played 3 matches, and we won all 3 of our matches.
That's awesome.
We're pro gamers, baby. We're the best.
Ben, it has so much to do with, because we talked about this before, that I tried Fortnite in the early days too and didn't care for it. That they learned that game needs to be for the 99 people that lose the battle royale, not for the one person that wins.
Yeah,
and they catered to that audience, and that's what's made Fortnite better.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it was Sparkz. I did not forget about you, good sir. What are your favorite consoles of all time?
I want to say the 360.
You're right,
because it's formative. Like I said, that's where I feel like I really got good as a gamer. That's where I got exposure to Halo, because I didn't have an Xbox before. I came in at 360. So I would say that. However, I'm thinking of the moment, and I'm going to say Xbox One instead. And personally, because I'm about one thing in particular.
Game Pass.
Backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
I still have all my 360 games. I can play pretty much all but one on the Xbox One. I can also play any Xbox game I own as well on the Xbox One. And then there's Game Pass and everything. The Xbox One kind of kicks ass.
Yeah,
it does.
Like if you're sticking to that console gaming, like especially now that I have a PC, I have Game Pass. I can play things on the PC. I can play things on my Xbox One. I can play my entire back catalog of Microsoft Xbox games. They are doing console gaming, in my opinion, correctly.
Yeah.
If you're looking for the console that attaches to the television, Xbox One is doing it right. I love my PS4, but a lot of the reason I love my PS4 is because I'm attached to narrative games, which the PS4 has in spades. And then I'm also attached to playing multiplayer with people that I want to play with, and most of my friends have PlayStations instead of Xboxes, so that's where I end up.
The only thing they missed, because the goal for goal for 360 was to be 360 degrees of entertainment, then the Xbox One was the one device that you needed for your entertainment system.
Okay.
And it's like they still focused on the games the whole time.
Yeah.
If they only would have created freaking whatever the Microsoft equivalent of Echoes and the Google Dots, if they would have had that, we would have Microsoft all over the place in our home.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
If you remember, when Xbox One was first announced, like, this is so fascinating. They were all about being always online and like trying to be forward thinking, and the entire world said, "Hell no, I just want a game box."
They panicked.
Yeah. Now we're in 2021. If Microsoft would have stuck with that 7 years ago, I truly think we'd be an entirely different.
There's articles about people not trusting the Kinect because it's listening.
Yeah.
Because it's constantly listening, and it's a video camera. And it's now we've put little devices that always listen at all times in our rooms.
Yeah, I have an Amazon Echo in my bedroom, and there are times, and like 20 years ago, and people are like, "No, I can't have this because what if the government's wiretapping my phones?" You bought a wiretap now.
They
have your social security number.
Yeah.
They have your phone.
These
I can't stop saying my social. I opened up with that.
I wake up and scream it.
I mean, there are times I say something and then I just look at my phone and was like, "Don't worry, FBI guy, I'm not actually going to do that thing."
Okay, so you're upset about this thing, or you're worried about a thing you put in your house in Alexa or a Google. But I mean, if you carry this everywhere, they're already listening.
Yeah,
they've already heard it.
Yeah, I just think of, man, like, again, like, even I at the time was like, I don't know if this is a good idea, but like looking now, I'm like, they just want to do what Steam was doing, and like the market would be so different, and PlayStation would have followed suit because they have to, because everyone wants to follow the next big thing.
Yeah.
And now we're getting there now, but man, like, again, this could have happened a generation ago.
Sure.
Who knows where we'd be now, man? It'd be crazy.
Who knows?
Yeah. Importantly, like, aside from Xbox One and PS4, they're just like where I end up a lot. But I think Xbox One really deserves that.
Yeah.
Again, like, I would kind of say 360 because a lot of the core of what I love about Xbox is there, but I can play all that on the one. So it's like,
true.
It's great.
They kind of got me.
Yeah.
Whereas the Switch, like, I want to say that the Switch is up there too, but the key thing that makes the Switch over the moon for me is that Nintendo finally started letting in indie developers.
Oh yeah.
And like other consoles and made themselves available to crossplay. I think that makes the Switch better. I think if the Switch just relied solely on Nintendo IP, it would still be good, but it wouldn't be one of the greats.
Yeah.
It's so shocking how successful their run is. They've been able to have failed consoles. They've been able to rely solely on their own IP, and yet they are still a major player. That's crazy.
I would definitely say Nintendo has learned a lot of lessons. I mean, because they've been around since, Nintendo as a company has been around since the 1800s plus. So they've been around for a long time. But when video games became a thing and they've been known for only making video games, they have definitely learned the lessons with the Virtual Boy. They've had their highs with the SNES and the N64, and then they had their lows with the Wii U and the GameCubes. Well, GameCube not super low because that's still a beloved system. I'm actually surprised Sparkz didn't put the GameCube on his top list because I know he loves the GameCube.
So what I was gonna say,
carrying case.
What I was gonna say is I really consider the Wii very favorably. I still have it, and again, like,
you can play those games.
A key thing for me is backwards compatibility, and the Wii is backwards compatible to the GameCube. So I was able to just pass off my GameCube console, keep all my GameCube games, play them on the Wii, which I find extra impressive considering the different disc sizes that they went through. Yeah, you can put your GameCube in here. Go ahead, your teeny tiny little GameCube.
Put your whole GameCube in.
Even when I found out that the Wii was backwards compatible with the GameCube, I actually went out and bought Smash Bros. Melee, but I didn't have a memory card, and I had a wireless controller, and I had it, and I was like, I'll just buy a memory card. I never bought a memory card, and then eventually that got stolen with the wireless adapter for my controller, which hurt my soul. But anyways, going back to like highs and lows, like, as great as the Wii was with a bunch of the first party titles, it also had a bunch of shovelware that has plagued bargain bins to this very day. So I think with the Switch, even though the Switch, a lot of the stuff from the Switch, like a lot of the indie games come from the Nintendo eShop, which is where a lot of people get their games nowadays. there's some amazing titles on there that I'm like, oh, I will buy that. I'm gonna get that. And when I go,
Baby, game of the year is on Switch and PC only. It's Hades.
So
Yeah.
the other console I want to really talk about is I don't want to lose sight of the Nintendo 3DS. Because
my baby.
For me, PSP never lured me in, but the 3DS had a great games roster that you could only play on the DS or the 3DS again, allowing for DS games. That was where Nintendo shined for a while there. And I still love my 3DS. That's how I played Ocarina of Time.
Me too.
Like, honestly, because I didn't get to Ocarina of Time before that. I played it on the 3DS and I love it.
And again, like 3D without glasses, like that's a technology no one else has been able to implement except for this small video game console.
Right.
It's so impressive. And I still can't believe that it works. Like I don't understand it. Science. I'm a fairly smart guy, and I'm just like, how does this work?
But Sparkz, I agree with you. The sole reason I bought a Nintendo 3DS was so I could play Ocarina of Time. And now I'm kind of kicking myself because I bought through my 3DS after the price cut. Because if I bought it before, I would have been able to get freaking Metroid Fusion as a downloadable title because I would have been a quote unquote ambassador. But I didn't. And Nintendo never re-released those games onto the 3DS version of the eShop. Only Game Boy games, but you could play it on your Nintendo Wii. So don't get me wrong. As there are so many times, I can go on another freaking tangent about how many times when Nintendo takes like 2 steps forward, it takes like a step and a half back.
Yeah,
100%.
They already proved it's like, hey, Game Boy Advance games can run on the 3DS. Cool, put them on the eShop for $5. Take all my money. Let me play my GBA games that I either gave away or lost and can't play anymore, or super hard to find, aka Fire Emblem, that I want to play. And like, nah, you can get those on the Nintendo Wii, on the Wii U eShop and on the 3DS. So I'm like, but you just proved that you can do this thing. Why not do this thing?
That's another excellent point, is like the Game Boy Advance games that you're able to do on it. Again, like for pretty much everything I name, it always comes back to, I think aside from the Switch, it always just comes back to backwards compatibility. I'm all about like consoles that embrace the past at the same time that they're moving things forward. Cause like, I don't want to have to keep I still have my PS2, love my PS2, but I keep it because I can't play those games on anything else. If the PS5 allowed me to play PS2 games, that PlayStation 2 would be gone.
Yeah.
Like I want to be able to play the old, but I don't want to have to keep all the consoles.
Even real quick, Ben, even like the Xbox is great with backwards compatibility, but also what they do different than PlayStation is like PlayStation lets you buy a lot of their older games, but that's because like they put them on the PlayStation 4 store. The Xbox Marketplace just has all the games from the Xbox Marketplace. You can buy original Xbox games on the Marketplace and 360 games and Xbox One games. It's just the one big ecosystem.
It's getting
and I
crazy.
think like I was looking at like a game from like 2007 to buy, and I'm like, I could buy it for $15. It's a little expensive, but they are letting me buy it just on my Xbox One. I'm like, it's easy, baby. It's nice and easy.
Yeah, going to handhelds, I only own 2 handhelds right now. I own this beauty, my Game Boy Advance SP, and my Nintendo 3DS. Because with my SP, I can play Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and regular Game Boy games on this. I don't need any of those systems. If I do get them, it's just because I'm a collector and I like spending money on those things.
It's crazy. Yeah. I consider the Switch a handheld. Is that not a?
It is
not a real opinion.
It technically is.
No, it is for. It also depends on the type of person you are. Like I know people who like travel. Their Switch is with them 24 hours a day. That is their like they play everything on their Switch, whether it's handheld or on the dock. So like that's why I think the Switch is one of the best consoles, because it is truly a video game, like a console game in your handheld form.
Yeah. I will say that like if it's a game where I don't feel like I can play with the Joy-Cons here, I never like doing the little stand. I always want to just put it into the television.
Yeah.
If it comes to that, I'd rather just dock it.
For sure. And it's like the only reason I think of it as a handheld is because it's constantly, if you want to just take it with you, you just go.
Yeah.
I took my Switch.
It is.
When I got my Switch, I visited my dad in Texas, and I took my Switch with me because my nieces and nephews were going to be at my dad's house. So I'm thinking, I think they'll like this. And I'm not going to lie, one of the coolest flexes I was able to do was on my plane flight back from Texas to LA. I was playing Breath of the Wild. I had it on the stand because I wanted to test the stand. So I'm just playing Breath of the Wild, and here comes the guy with the drinks. He looks over, the flight attendant. He looks over. He's like, "Wait, is that the Switch?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, and he stood there for like 5 minutes just watching me play. Like he gave me my Coke, and I'm just sitting there. I'm still playing Breath of the Wild, and he's like, that is really cool.
Yeah.
He plays on TV. He's like asking me all the questions. I'm like, yeah, you can play this on TV. You can play this wherever you want. He's like, that's so cool. And then he goes down and he's like, hey, that guy down there has a Switch.
And it's affordable.
Low key, the reason I started getting into mobile games is because you can have emulators to download on your computer, and you can play the mobile game on your computer or do whatever those features are. So, the fact, what I care about more so than anything right now is the flexibility of platform, and I want to be able to suggest a game to somebody and be able to play with them and not care about what they own. Because it's like now you're getting vendor locked otherwise, and it's not what it's about now.
Yeah, we all play multiplayer games together, and whether it's Predator, Hunting Grounds, or Dead by Daylight, those are both cross-play games. So I could play on my PC, he could play on the Switch, Ben could be on his PS4, and we're all playing together still. And sometimes, like Xbox was very forward-thinking and very much like, we want cross-play. It was always PlayStation. It's like, no, we want to keep everyone in our ecosystem. That's what it was for many years. Like Rocket League, the developers of Rocket League were like, it's just a Switch. We literally flip a switch, but PlayStation won't let us. And it's just because of like business reasons, but you make more money if everyone's involved. Right. And then they realize that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, with that, I think that's a good button to end it on. So, man, I know we can go longer, but but I told myself I gotta stop at a certain time, and also these guys have other things that need to get taken care of, and we got other stuff. So. Inga, Thor, thank you so much for coming on this episode. Your open invitation for you to come back. Just hit me up whenever you want to come back.
Yes.
I absolutely love talking to you guys. Where can they find you where can the people find you on the internet?
Sure. You can find us on Instagram at Adults Talking Anime. You can find us on Twitter at Adults T Anime. I mean, we're wherever you listen to podcasts, we're there too. We're on YouTube. We do have a Discord. We can shoot you guys that link. Please join our Discord. If you want to play Among Us or just chat random whatever. He just posts whatever he wants.
Somebody
sometimes.
Friend me on Discord or talk to me there. It's open all the time, and I constantly am looking for distractions at work. Yeah. And then you can find me on any platform if you Google my full name, Thor Gregory Draper Jr., and I'm sure I'll pop up. It's not that common of a name.
Just Google Adults Talking Anime Class. You will find us.
Because I don't know any of my social handles. But Thor Gregory Draper Jr. is my full name. Maybe if you narrow it down, Charlotte NC.
Oh my God.
If you narrow it down even further, my social security number is. Oh, no. Cut that one out.
Okay. That was my next question.
Stop right. And also, totally shameless plug. I'm on the most recent episode of Adults Talking Anime Plus. So you should totally listen to that episode and the other episodes I was on because. Man, I love going on that show. It's so much fun.
Yeah, Ben, you're a big friend of the podcast. Sparkz, Ryan, we got to have you on the podcast too. We need to just take the whole Fake Nerd podcast onto our podcast. That's how we do it. Guys, thank you so much for having us.
Are we going to do a crossover?
We should. Let's do that.
I'm always down. Ryan, where can the good people find you on the internet?
Oh man, I'm everywhere at DJ Tony Snark. Just like talk about X-Men, talk about Evangelion, just being a nerd. I don't know.
Sparkz.
You can find me at Sparkz Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
And you can find me on the internet yelling at games and apparently getting victory royales on Fortnite for some ungodly reason at BedMagnet27 on both Instagram and Twitter. And also myself, Ryan, and Sparkz. We are 3 of the 4 co-hosts of the Fake Nerd Podcast. We do our podcast on Sunday. We live stream them Sunday nights. So go ahead. I'm pretty sure when this episode comes out, we would have already done our episode on Psycho Gorman, which is up on YouTube. You could find us on YouTube at Fake Nerd Podcast. You could find us on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Pandora. Pretty much just Google. We have our own website, Fake Nerd Podcast.
Zoom Marketplace.
Not the Zoom Marketplace, Brian. That thing is dead. It's never coming back.
the PS Vita platform.
UMD.
Well, technically you can if you use the web browser on the PS Vita, but that's going to another rabbit hole. And also, if you love old school video games like I do, I also write for oldschoolgamermagazine.com. New articles coming up soon. My last one is about what did I write about? Oh yeah, edutainment games. Those old edutainment games that you loved, hated, and loathed in the 90s. That article is up there right now. But yeah, once again, Inga, Thor, thank you again so very much for coming on. I cannot wait to have you back to talk about whatever the hell it is. And until then, unpause.